Hello there. Welcome to the Some Seminarians podcast. Podcast both starring and being produced by Seminarians of the Archdiocese of San Antonio. My name is Eric, and today I'm being joined by with Mon and Luis, other seminarians of the Archdiocese of San Antonio. Today we're going to be talking about both the positives and negatives of social media.
Hello, my name is Mon. Thank you for the introduction, Eric. So the positive impact on social media is that, for one thing I can say is that it's a type of communication where we can all connect with our family all over the world and then have good communication between them. That's for now. And what do you think about that, Luis?
Well, hello, first of all. So, hello. Thank you for having me here. I'm Luis Gomez. Well, I think social media is very, very useful in my case. I can communicate with my family, with my friends, being in touch with them, but also during the time of pandemic, it was amazing because when we have in isolation, the social media was the way to be in touch with everybody that we love. Mm-hmm. It's very, very nice in my opinion. So, but also I think we need to be careful with the use of social medias, because it could be dangerous as well. What do you think, guys, about that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that dangerous?
Yeah, it can be very dangerous. Like some of the negative things that I've seen and I've read about, cyberbullying, just general unhappiness with one's life, body positivity and negativity, self-doubt, things like that. Can all become part of someone's afflictions because of social media. Mm-hmm. But just going back on something that you said earlier that I thought was interesting, the pandemic. I think we saw some of the wonderful things that social media can do during the pandemic. I myself was working at the time before entering seminary, and I was working in media.
Oh, wow.
For a church. So just being able to see that positive side of what one can do with social media, I think is wonderful. I mean, at the time, I was helping make sure that daily mass was going out to Facebook and to everyone that was part of the parish community, keeping them in touch with the sacraments, digitally, of course, not physically, and helping people live their faith digitally in a time that we were physically separated.
Right. Right. Yeah. I remember particularly in that time, I was with a family, and they put like a little altar, on the computer, and they followed the daily mass. Beautiful, because it was the only way that they used, or they had to be in touch with the community, with the faith, with the priest. And I think talking about the important things about the social media, the evangelization, how we can go with the message of the gospel to around the world using the social medias. I think it's a good thing that we can use with that tools. So.
Yeah. But for my case, I was working at the hospital during the pandemic, so it was kind of crazy because the hospital didn't allow, because of COVID, they didn't allow any visitors.
Wow.
So basically, usually hospital, they allow all type of, like, their family, relatives, all of them at once. But since the COVID hit, it just stopped them from having them to stay with them. So a lot of patients, they feel really kind of isolated and loneliness. Like Eric just mentioned about like the negative impact of social media, but at the same time, they felt kind of their life was on it's like a brick, so they didn't like what they were doing. I mean, not being able to be close to their family, but the good thing is that social media kind of helped them. They're in the hospital by themselves. They're able to like call and then look at the like Facebook or like FaceTime, like look at different posts of their family. So that's really kind of one thing that's how they got through the COVID. So that was kind of fascinating. At the same time, you can see their pastor or the priest like sending them messages on their Facebook. So that's kind
Right.
of one way of their healing. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's like things that we do as seminarian and the priest, like we don't see the outcomes of the positive social media, but at the same time, when we see what people are going through, like their depression and stuff like that.
It was like a message of hope.
Hope, exactly.
You are not alone. You are with us. We have a community that we can support you in a different way, but we are there with
Yeah.
you in that moment, in the very, very bad moments. So
Like
pretty nice.
spiritually.
Right,
Like
right.
Not physically, but spiritually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You had said something before about evangelization in media. That's something I think has been coming to the forefront of the church, especially with people like the media nuns of
The media
Chicago.
nuns?
Oh,
What is that?
Ways the church has been expanding and pushing forth the message of evangelization. So I just was wondering if you guys have any thoughts about that.
Well, I want to say that we need to be in touch with the new generation. And the new generation is definitely a generation of social medias. They look forward in that kind of apps,
Mhm.
find different things. For example, go to Facebook, Twitter. They are always connected with the world,
Mhm.
and I think we can use that as a way to go to share the good news about the gospel. So particularly, I follow some priests in the social
Mhm.
in YouTube. They
Yeah.
have
Okay, yeah.
YouTube channels, and I follow them, and I like to listen the homilies or reflection
Mhm.
about different things in the gospel. I think it's a very, very
It
good.
is.
It's a very good and powerful way to continue spread the good news
Mhm.
in the new generation, particularly.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's kind of difficult to kind of grab their attention, especially the youth. They're so like in tune with their cell phones, you know.
Uh-huh.
It's so hard for them to put down. So,
You're right.
so it's kind of make it difficult. But at the same time, if you can kind of get that little message, like you say, a little Bible verse.
Yeah.
Because for me, the one thing for my Spotify, I follow Father Mike Smith, I think.
Mike Schmidt?
Yes.
The Bible in the Year.
The Bible in
podcast.
One Year.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
great.
one of my
That's
favorites.
good. That's one of my
And,
favorites as well.
So I listen to that one every day, and also the daily reading where the priests give out reflections.
Mhm.
So even though like you listen to it, he wrote all his reflection down, so you can just paste or like maybe copy some of the main points.
Yeah.
So I kind of use that. Sometimes I copy that. I send it to some of my friends. Like the phrases that he said, it's so like Louis said, it's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess this is what I think all of us, even adults and adolescents and teenagers, needs to listen.
Right.
But the hard part is that how do we get that message to them?
Yeah, that's certainly something difficult. As we've been seeing,
Mhm.
leading social media projects for the Archdiocese of San Antonio for the vocation office, and as you said, it's difficult to get those people engaged with the content that we create. I mean, sometimes just looking at the views or the comments or the lack thereof, interaction with the stuff we post, it's a little disheartening sometimes.
Yeah.
And certainly we don't want to be moving ourselves down to just pure entertainment,
Mhm.
but also something with wholesome content of evangelization. It's hard blending the
Mhm.
two. But as you said, like, it's hard to keep the attention of the teens, of the kids these days.
Right. And also when they have a lot of options,
Yeah.
they
Yes.
open Facebook or YouTube or any other social media, and they have a lot of information there.
Yeah.
How we can engage them with the Catholic information, with
Mhm.
Yeah.
things related with our faith, which is very important for us. I think it depends how we know them. What do they need for us in
It's part
terms
of
of
that
information?
relational ministry.
Right, it's more like a
Mhm.
relation. I know them, and because I know them, I can produce some information, good information, to them in order to enrich their faith. I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
that's a very important key. You know, it can be different without producing social media stuff for the
Yeah.
Catholic.
Mhm.
But you know,
Okay.
a lot of kids right now they like TikTok or like
TikTok?
Snapchat
Yes.
because it lasts for 15 seconds. So I seen some of the like religious or youth group that do some kind of Bible verse or something like that,
Uh-huh.
kind of relate to Catholic teaching.
I'm not familiar with TikTok. Is that like videos or
Yeah,
what is that?
Yeah.
it's a video. You
Oh,
just
right,
record it
nice.
for 15 seconds,
Wow.
and then you just pick whatever topic you want to talk about. So I've seen a lot of youth group that do that. So I kind of follow them too.
Yeah, but again, they are very short. I mean,
Yeah.
you can go up to 10 minutes now, but
Mhm.
they're very short, which means also you can get lost
Exactly.
in TikTok.
Uh-huh.
You can just be
Keep
scrolling,
yes.
and then you find out, oh, it's been 30 minutes.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I know we have this project, some seminarians,
Uh-huh.
it's social media. Is some seminarians in the TikTok as well?
Actually, just thank you for asking. We just started a TikTok account, so
Well,
you guys can go follow us on TikTok as well.
definitely going to be a good opportunity for me to explore that.
Yes, the new platform.
And I invite all of you guys who are with us right now to go and explore some seminarians in TikTok and in other social media that we have right now available for
Yeah.
Mhm.
all of you.
Thank you for the plug. Yeah. So, I mean, even with this, it's hard. It's hard
Right.
because while we have been talking about the positives, there's a lot of negatives as well.
Mhm.
Just some of the things that you hear or just even read with these studies that happen about social media. Teen depression is linked to social media use. Like I said earlier, negative images of
Right.
self in body, mind, and such, as well as cyberbullying. And then on a larger scale, social media becomes echo chambers for groups. There's a lot of fighting. You want to look at drama, just go to Twitter. It's a bunch of people fighting each other verbally. So why don't we talk a little bit
Yeah.
about the negatives?
But for me, what I had experienced so far was reading on like on the news and stuff like that about social media. That the one thing that really gets me is a lot of them like suicidal thoughts, like committing suicide. You know, like it's just kind of it's just sad that like teen like never like basically the young teen who died won't able to experience their whole life, like continue at like 40, 30 compared to us, like we were to an elderly, like being able to experience their life ages, you know, like the changes in their life. But at this teen, they're so dependent on social media, and then they wanted to make friends and try and keep their friends, try and keep up. At the same time, doing that is very draining. They feel like that kind of brought them to a stage where I'm tired. Like this is not me, but I'm just doing it because I want to keep my friend. And that's one of the bad thing about social media is just that you're so addicted to it that you tend to lose track of yourself.
Right.
And that's one of the worst things that you can do. But at the same time, as seminarians, like all of us, we're trying to get our points across, trying to guide them and walk with those teens,
Yes.
like especially those teens right now, and like who's suffering through depression, even though they seem so happy outside, but deep down within themselves, they feel like isolated, like they can't find any help.
Yeah, I wanna say that one of the negative effects of the social media is related with the wrong image of happiness.
Yes.
If you go to social media and you follow celebrities or things like that, and you see that they have a life with a lot of things like a vacation,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like all materialistic.
right, materialistic things, and you can't do that. You say, well, why I can't do this?
Mm-hmm.
And that produce anxiety
Yeah.
and depression. And I think one of the tasks that we need to do, and I invite the families, the parents that work with your family, is to say, hey, no, we need to be careful about that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be aware about our things, and not everything that is produced in the social medias is real. So
Yes.
we need to be very, very careful about what is real and what is not real.
Mhm.
What is the reality? So
Yeah.
I think this is one
Yeah,
of them.
and what you're saying, that it's very much true. These glamorous lives the celebrities
Right.
just seem to be living. It's not just celebrities though. It's people like influencers and just
Yeah.
even our own friends and family that, oh, maybe we're scrolling through Instagram and see someone. For example, I just saw this when I was scrolling through Instagram earlier today. A friend of mine that I know, she was having a lovely picnic in front of the Eiffel Tower. And I was like, well, that's nice. I wish I was there.
And I'm here producing.
Yes, I'm here producing content. But we can't let those types of things get to us. It's more of a, oh, it's great. She got to go to Paris, a place she's been wanting to go for some time.
Yeah.
I'm happy for her. I'm going to continue with what I'm doing.
Yep.
Exactly.
And that's also, I think, something we forget about when we see social media,
Mhm.
especially when we're interacting with it a lot. Because something that was said in a talk that I went to in college was, for social media, it's just posting the good things about life
Mhm.
that we experience. You're never seeing the negative, the struggles, the hardships. We only put our best selves out there.
Yeah.
So while we may be thinking, oh, this person has such a good life, nothing bad happens to them, we're not seeing that other side.
Well, you told us that you work with social media in a parish, just trying to work in evangelization in
Mhm.
this new reality. How we can help youth and youth adult to use the social media as a way of evangelization, but also be aware of the risk that they have in the social medias. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so there's a lot of risks that come with social media and
Right.
just technology use in general.
Right.
Especially with probably things out there that teens shouldn't be seeing or shouldn't be watching. But I think one of the most realistic things that one can do for teens and for in relation to social media is just being honest with them, letting people know, like, hey, this is the reality of what social media is. This is what it can do to you. And what you're seeing is not the whole picture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You may be seeing a picture, but it's not the whole reality. It's not the whole person that you're seeing. That open honesty is where the teens will most likely listen. And as I was saying earlier, there's an importance to relational ministry. All for youth ministry and just ministry to teens in general, there has to be a physical presence in a teen's life to where then they can do the digital ministry. And something that we did during the pandemic for Holy Trinity, where I was working at, was inviting the teens to do just something simple.
Mhm.
We called it Lunch Bunch.
Mhm.
And this was on Fridays. We would just ask the teens to grab their lunch, sit in front of the computer, and Zoom call with everybody in it. And we would just talk about the week. Not even talking about religion or anything, just being present to them digitally.
Mhm.
And that was one of our most popular things that we did. I mean, we even played Jackbox a couple of times with the teens over Zoom. It's those kinds of positive experiences that will help us as evangelizers to relate better to teens.
Yeah, I think you mentioned something very important: communication.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing about the social medias, we have in a minute a lot of information.
Mhm.
Sometimes the information there is not necessarily true. It is just only a person says something about different topic and put it and post it in the
Yeah.
social media.
Misinformation.
Right. I think one of the things that we need to work, not only as a seminarians, but also as a future priest,
Mhm.
or the priests in the parish, or the families, is to help people to find the truth
Yeah.
in that ocean of information. So I think it's a very, very useful thing. Or what do you think, man, about that?
Yeah, that's true. Though communication is very important, especially when it comes to giving the right information. Like Eric just mentioned, you just mentioned, Luis, about you read stuff on social media, and when you read it, sometimes it gets you.
Right.
It's like, maybe this is true, maybe this is me, maybe it's not. But at the same time, you have to differentiate which is true, which is not.
Yes.
So it's at the same time, come on, like we as an adult, like we can think for ourselves, but as teenagers, like their mind thinks differently. And at the same time, and when you want to evangelize, we have to find that message, like that one message that they kind of, whatever they are going through, that one message will kind of get their attention, and then finally they're able to listen to what we have to say. But at the same time, it's just like Eric, like we just all mentioned, just it's hard. But nothing is easy,
It is
like,
hard.
It's a process like we all of us are going through. So like social, like we all just mentioned about the negative and positive about social media. There's so many great things, but at the same time, it's how much we want to listen, like how much it's based on ourselves, like how we want to use it. We can use it in a good way or the bad way. It's based on us.
Absolutely.
Something that both of you mentioned was searching for that truth. As the Catholic Church, we have that truth,
Yes.
Especially with religion. And something you were mentioning, Luis, is just that misinformation. I mean, I can just scrolling through my own personal feeds, not even the vocation office feeds, I see so much misinformation about the church. Beliefs that are not even true. I think in one of the shorts that we produced about one of the saints, we had someone from another Christian denomination posted something about St. Patrick, and I was like, that's not true. That's not true. So I think having, especially us information, future pastors, future leaders of the church being competent, and not just competent, but comfortable using social media and just media in general to evangelize helps us spread the truth much more, and to help guide the souls that we will be pastoring toward that truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. Even though sometimes the truth can be very painful, but this is what the Catholic teaches. Like we believe in that for a reason, and that's why we are Catholic. Like Pope Francis say, we are one church. We are all united together as one.
Yeah.
So we can't really differentiate ourselves. Like, oh, I'm not that, but I'm this. But at the same time, this is what the church is teaching. And I know it's difficult. At the same time, like most Catholics, some of us Catholics, sometimes we don't want to listen to that truth.
Yes.
And we just like, okay, I listen, and then later on they say it's gone. But yeah, at the same time, like this is what the churches teach, and we are all abide by it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, in my opinion, my personal opinion, we have in a social media world of possibilities to explore in order to continue teaching and preaching, which is those are the most important duties for the priest, to teach and to preach. And we can explore a lot about that in our formation right now as a seminarians, to be ready in the future and to go and use that tools to spread the good news about the gospel.
Yes.
I think that's my hope. I'm not too much familiar with the social medias, so I don't like too much use the kind of apps, but definitely I need to continue explore it and use it for the good of the people.
Yeah, that's true. That's, for me, the only platform that
TikTok.
I use. No, I don't have TikTok, so I know a lot of. Yes, for me, a lot of people I know that uses TikTok, but for me, it's usually Facebook and Instagram. Those are the only two social media platforms that I use.
I like Twitter.
Twitter, really?
Twitter?
Yes.
I don't have.
I like Twitter because I can know everything in a
few
minutes,
seconds.
in seconds.
In 40 characters or less.
Yes, if something happened in in South America, I can know that here. In Europe, immediately, it's pretty nice. But at the same time, it's it represents a risk because, well, is that true or
Mhm.
not?
Mm-hmm.
Again, connected with we discussed
Yeah,
previously.
Yeah, no, I have everything that the vocation office has. I already had before, so I'm spread thin with the social media stuff. But yeah, thank you, both of you, for being with me today and talking about social media. It was a pleasure, and yeah.
Thank you, Eric, for having us here. So
Thank you for having us.
Mhm.
And well, it's a good time to invite all of you
Mhm.
to subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Spotify,
Spotify.
Apple
Amazon
Music,
Music, Apple Podcasts, the
Yes.
YouTube,
social
the
media.
Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok. We have a lot of
Please do follow
platforms.
us.
Yes.
Please do follow us and share it with your family, your friends, and
Mhm. And
everybody.
yeah, and if you think we need to have another podcast episode pertaining to social media in general or specific things, make sure to reach out to us, DM us, comment, or send us an email. If that's what y'all want, we're more than happy to do another episode on this.
And don't forget, communication is very important.
Yes.
It's very, very important.
Yes.
Yes. So again, thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you when the next episode is out. Goodbye.
Bye.